Hello students, welcome back again. In this session we are going to discuss some few more points about the control and coordination. In previous session we have discussed about the definition of the coordination, okay. Then we have also discussed about the nervous system in case of human beings and what it consists of, that is it consists of the CNS and the PNS. And we have seen this part of the CNS, that is central nervous system, brain and spinal cord. Today we are going to see this brain and spinal cord in certain depth. So, to understand the physiology as well as the anatomy of the brain, okay. Already we have discussed about the neurons. These are nothing but the structural and functional unit of the nervous system, okay, which are responsible for transmitting the electrical as well as chemical synapse, okay, or electrical as well as chemical signals from one part of the body to the another part of the body. And in this session we will be talking about the structure of brain, okay, and the parts of brain. Now let us start with the central nervous system, okay. So here, that is central nervous system, central nervous system. So basically what the central nervous system is been made up of, okay. So central nervous system consists of brain and the spinal cord. So we will discuss about the brain first. So brain is the central information processing of our body, okay. So brain is central information processing, okay, or it is a center for processing of the information of our body, okay, and acts as command and control center. So see, most of the information which is been stored within the body, okay, that may be in the form of any kind of chemical signal, that can be in the form of electrical signal or any kind of metabolic activity, okay, which is been stored within the body, okay, which is also processed by the brain, okay, which acts as the command and control center. So whatever metabolism our body is performing, it is under the control of the brain, okay, that can be called as the controlling center of the body. The next, human brain is protected by skull, okay, it is protected by skull, which is called as the cranium, okay, that is the brain box called skull or the cranium, and cranial meninges has three layers. So the human brain, which is consists of the cranium, okay, and this cranial meninges consist of three layers, okay, and which are those? It consists of the outer or three layered membrane. You can see three layered membrane. So first, outer dura mater, then second, middle, arachnoid matter, arachnoid matter, and third, inner pia matter. Okay, so these are the three different three layered membranes which are found onto the brain. Okay, or it is the covering of the brain, you can say. So that is called cranial meninges or the cranium. Okay, the next, brain is divided into brain is divided into three parts. Three parts. And what are those? First, forebrain. Second, midbrain. And third, hindbrain. Now let's see these three different parts of the brain, that is forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain, okay, with the help of the diagram. So we'll draw the diagram of the human brain, and so what we are going to distinguish the three different parts of the brain, that is forebrain, midbrain and the hindbrain. You can pause the video and note down these points. Okay, so let's see structure. Structure of human brain. Okay, so we are going to draw the rough sketch of the human brain. You can also refer the textbooks to draw this diagram if it is not clearly visible to you. Okay, so it may have certain what we say sulci. Sulci means these are the foldings over here. These are referred as the sulci. Okay, so many foldings are seen in the structure of the brain. Okay, many foldings are there. So you can also draw the structure if you want, okay, or you can draw it later from the textbook. Okay, so for our understanding, I am drawing the diagram. So here you can see the part. So such a structure of a brain can be seen. Okay. So let's label the parts so that we'll come to know this part of the brain, okay, or this part of the brain is referred as cerebrum. Okay, this part of the brain is referred as cerebrum. Now here it consists of thalamus. Okay, then next the part which is here, the cavity is referred as hypothalamus. Okay, so from the part that is cerebrum to the thalamus and hypothalamus, okay, is referred as the forebrain. Okay, that is the first part. The next, the part which is consisting of hypothalamus, okay, or what we say, the part here, that is the cytoplasmic part over here, that is referred as the midbrain. Okay, that is referred as midbrain. Then this is called pons. Okay, then this part is referred as cerebellum. Okay, not this part, actually this part is referred as cerebellum, and this part is referred as medulla, commonly called medulla oblongata. These three parts togetherly called as the hindbrain. Hindbrain. Okay, and the part which is coming here is referred as the cerebral aqueduct. Cerebral aqueduct. Okay, and the part over here is called corpus callosum. Corpus callosum. Okay, and this part is the cerebral hemisphere. Cerebral hemisphere. This cerebral hemisphere has been divided into two main parts. Okay, it is divided into two identical equal halves. That is called cerebral hemisphere. So this is a rough sketch of the brain which shows us three different parts. The first, that is forebrain, second midbrain, and the third is the hindbrain. Okay, so here in this forebrain you can see two different locations are there. First location, that is the frontal part of the brain, is referred as the cerebrum, which is the part of forebrain. That is, the next thalamus and hypothalamus are also the part of the forebrain. Okay, the next midbrain, it is the cavity which is surrounded to the hypothalamus. Okay, the next pons, then cerebellum, the hindbrain. Okay, this is the cerebellum. So you might be well known with the dialogue from a movie, yahan chota dimag. That chota dimag is nothing but a cerebellum. So that is a part of hindbrain. Pons and medulla. See, pons and medulla, they are associated with the balancing body. Okay, so whenever we ride a vehicle or when we ride a bicycle, okay, we have a kind of balance, and that balance is due to this medulla oblongata. Okay, it plays a major role in that. So these are the structure of brain. Now let's discuss about its parts. Okay, what are their function? What is the function of cerebrum? What is the function of thalamus, hypothalamus, midbrain, pons, cerebellum, medulla? Okay, medulla oblongata, then cerebral aqueduct. So all this structure we will discuss about it in detail. Okay, so let's start with it. You can pause the video and draw the diagram, or you can draw it from the textbook itself. So first we are going to start with the first part, that is forebrain. Okay, so let's see forebrain. It consists of cerebrum, then thalamus and hypothalamus. Okay, so it consists of cerebrum, thalamus and hypothalamus. The next, the cerebrum, that is the first part. The cerebrum okay is divided into left and right cerebral hemisphere. Okay, so here cerebrum, it is divided into two parts, that is left and right cerebral hemisphere. If you look after the structure of brain that I have shown you like this. Okay, so this part is from the one side, and at another side that is another part. So that will be referred as the hemisphere. Okay, so two hemispheres are there, that is left and right. The next, this cerebral hemisphere is covered by cerebral cortex. So the part in the brain which we have seen, the sulci or the what we say muscular part, over there is a grey matter. Okay, so that is the cerebral cortex. Okay, cerebral cortex, which is also referred as the grey matter, where we can see the supply of the blood vessels as well as the veins. Okay, the next, the cerebral cortex consists of sensory neuron, motor neuron and association area. So see here, it consists of sensory neurons. Sensory neurons are those which has a property of sensing any kind of stimulus. Such neurons are present in the cerebral cortex. The next, motor neurons are those which help in what we say, showing the response. Okay, so these are the sensory neuron, and these are the motor neurons which will show the reflex action of that senses, and they have the association area. So that association area, it is about the thinking. Okay, the next means it is about the regulating. Okay, that association area is about the regulating the type of action will be performed by the body. Okay, the next, this association area controls, it controls memory and communication. Okay, so it controls memory and communication. So whatever we store within our brain, that is in the form of memories, okay, will be under the control of association area, and communication, whatever vocabulary we produce, okay, through the vocal cord, or with the help of vocal cord we speak, okay, or what to speak, what not to speak, such kind of activities are associated with the association area. Then next, okay, inner part of cerebral hemisphere, inner part of cerebral hemisphere, forms white matter, that controls sensory, and motor signaling. So this is the part which is responsible for regulating the sensory and the motor part within the forebrain. So whatever signals that are received by our brain, that will be means released in the form of some other signals with the help of this white matter of the cerebral hemisphere. That is the inner part of the cerebral hemisphere consists of white matter that controls the sensory and the motor signaling. Okay, so this is about the cerebrum. The next part, that is thalamus and hypothalamus. Okay, so next part is the thalamus. Okay, so thalamus basically it is the cavity, okay, where the hypothalamus is formed. Okay, next, that is thalamus. Okay, and thalamus is a area, okay, that area has the certain glands, okay, which is the site for the pituitary gland, again occurrence of pituitary gland, okay, that is a part, and which consists of hypothalamus. So hypothalamus is the part which secretes different kinds of hormones again, okay, means it is the part which produces a kind of signals, okay, and this signals will trigger the pituitary gland to secrete certain hormones, and these hormones will be stimulating certain metabolic functions in the body. So that is the function of thalamus and hypothalamus. So thalamus and hypothalamus will consider together hypothalamus. Okay, so let's see what is the hypothalamus over here. Hypothalamus controls the urge for eating, comma, drinking, and body temperature and body temperature. Okay, so that is the function of hypothalamus basically, and they also secrete or they also release, okay, hypothalamic hormones. Okay, hypothalamic hormones. The next, these hypothalamic hormones are responsible for regulating the sexual behavior of an individual human being. Okay, because the hormones which are released from the hypothalamus, that is from the pituitary gland, okay, from hypothalamus, like it is gonadotropin releasing hormone, which will trigger the pituitary gland to secrete the follicle stimulating hormone as well as the luteinizing hormone. Okay, and these hormones are responsible for stimulating the secondary sexual characters in the males as well as females. Okay, so they are responsible for regulating the reproductive cycles. So here these are released by the hypothalamus part of the brain. Okay, the next, and also responsible for regulating the emotional behavior. Okay, so apart from this, we will move to the another part, that is second part of the brain, that is midbrain. Midbrain. So what this midbrain is consisting of? Okay, it is located between hypothalamus and pons. Okay, pons of hindbrain. So it is located between hypothalamus and pons of hindbrain. Pons, as you know, this is a part of the hindbrain. Okay. The next, the dorsal portion. You know, dorsal portion means what? The portion which is present in the back side, that is called dorsal portion. Dorsal portion consists of four round lobes. Okay, called corpora quadrigemina. Okay, quadrigemina or quadrigemina. That is called corpora quadrigemina, which is a dorsal part consisting of four round lobes. Okay. The next, the midbrain or the part of the midbrain are involved in, they are involved in relay of impulses back and forth between the cerebellum pons and medulla. Okay, so this is about the midbrain and the function of the midbrain. They are involved in the relay of impulses, that is back and forth between the cerebellum, pons, and the medulla. So these are the parts of the hindbrain. So from the midbrain there will be transmission of the impulses to the hindbrain. Okay. Now next, let's see what is hindbrain. You can pause the video and note down the points. Okay. So let's see the third part of the brain, that is hindbrain. Hindbrain. Okay, that is the third part. Now here, hindbrain consists of, what it consists of? Three main parts, that is the pons, cerebellum, and the medulla oblongata. So you can write here, it consists of pons, medulla, oblongata, then and cerebellum. Okay, cerebellum. Now what are the functions like? Okay, so whatever inspirations are there, okay, or any kind of internal signals are there, they are under the control of this what do we say, hindbrain. Okay, and they relay impulses, they relay impulses between medulla and superior part of brain. Okay, and next, cerebellum controls the balance and posture. Okay, so whatever we balance our body and whatever postures we give, these are under the control of the cerebellum. Okay, and that is the part of hindbrain. So this is about hindbrain. Okay, now let's see what is meant by reflex action. Okay, the next point that we are going to discuss is the reflex action. So these are the different parts of the brain. Okay, we have studied the parts of brain, what it consists of, and what it is made up of, and what are their functions. Okay, note down all these points properly in the notebook, revise these points. If you have any kind of difficulty, you can ask me. Now the next part is the reflex action. Okay, so what is reflex action basically? Okay, what is reflex action? See, I'll write the definition here. It is a spontaneous autonomic mechanical response to a stimulus without the will of the organism. Okay, so it is a spontaneous autonomic mechanical response. What do you mean by spontaneous autonomic mechanical response? See, whenever you can see in the children's, okay, or the small children's, when they fight, okay, what happens when they fight with each other at that time? There is a what we say, exchange of what we say, yes, they hit each other. Okay, so they hit each other randomly. Okay, suppose someone is slapping to another person or another children, that children will rapidly again slap him back. Okay, such a response. Or even when we talk, let's talk about some actual examples, like suppose we are sensing any kind of hot or any kind of very cold substance. Suddenly what we do, we'll withdraw our legs or withdraw our body part from that cold or the hot substances. That is nothing but a spontaneous autonomic mechanical response, and this mechanical response is due to the stimuli. Now stimuli is in the form of any kind of senses, okay, and without the will of the organism. So it is not under the will of our own, okay. So it will be a quick response generated by the body, that is called reflex action, okay. So it is controlled by spinal cord. So spinal cord is responsible for regulating such a activity, okay. So here again we have two different types of nerves, that is called afferent nerve and the efferent nerve. So afferent nerve means the sensory nerves which will receive any kind of signal or the physical stimulus, and efferent nerve means the motor nerves which will respond to that particular stimulus. Now the stimulus will be taken towards the central nervous system, and within the central nervous system this kind of stimulus is converted into motor or the what we say responding type of stimulus, okay, and with the help of motor neurons it will be responded to particular organs, okay. So in this way reflex action takes place, okay. So and it is under the control of spinal cord. I hope you have getting all this information. Hope you are getting all this information, okay. If you have any kind of doubt within this part, you can ask me later, okay, during the doubt session, or else you can also text me your doubts personally. Thank you.